your impressions of Ivan Putski? I've heard that he wasn't the most well-liked person. I remember he and Scott Putski fought Lawler and Christopher on Raw and sang a polka song after. It got stuck in my head for weeks, so yeah, thanks.
Do you know that actually, and yes, Scott Putski, I worked with a few times in the WWF. That night that Ivan was there, I don't think that was my match, and I don't recall meeting him. But the first time that I legitimately met him and spoke more than a couple words to him was last year at Bud Carson's Pro Wrestling World Museum in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And we never worked in the same place together. I didn't know Ivan Putski at all. And I just know the antidote, as they say, the amusing antidote, that, Ivan Putski originally, the gimmick was that it was a Mighty Igor ripoff, because the Mighty Igor Wojcik was this Polish strongman who wore the cut off long johns and ate the Polish sausage, and he was a simpleton. It was the Steve Kyle did it in Tennessee in the 70s. Boo Bradley and Smoky Mountain in the 90s. The childlike, fucking beloved, strongman babyface that doesn't know his own strength. So there wasn't enough Mighty Igor to go around because the Sheik had him up in the Midwest most of the time. So they invented, because Joe Bednarski, Ivan Putski, was a Polish guy from Texas, so they made him Ivan Putski, and it was the Igor gimmick and pulling around the stuffed animal or whatever, and not wrestling it, just loving on it as he came to the ring and eating the Polish sausage. And he was a huge drawing card in Houston for Paul Bosch, and the people loved Ivan Putski, and he was a top baby face, and for several good long runs. And then he gets a spot in the WWF, and he goes up the WWF with the same gimmick, but slowly. And plus, he gets more into competition bodybuilding, and he gets ripped and shredded. And then he cuts off his long hair and his beard, and then he starts wearing wrestling tights. And all of a sudden, he starts doing interviews. And because he's from fucking Texas, he speaks English just as good as anybody else from Texas. And fucking so he's well used up there because they liked him in the WWF. But when Paul Bosch tries to get dates on Ivan Putski again, his big draw to come down to Texas, he sends in the promos. He's standing there. He's wearing normal tights. He's speaking fucking regular English. He's not the same Ivan Putski. And fucking Paul Bosch tells his whole office, says, they've killed Ivan Putski in New York. And he didn't get over again. He didn't draw. He just drew on his name, but the people didn't like the change as much. So I've heard he could sometimes be hard to get along with, but I don't know any amusing antidotes of that.
You go back and you look at a picture side by side of the Mighty Igor and early Ivan Putski, and it's a Jack Pfeffer level ripoff. I mean, it's just so explicit. It's ridiculous.
Well, it was identical.
Identical. It's the same outfit, same everything, same hair. Same facial hair.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.